2 years ago, we showed you a jig head that's action blew a lot of anglers away. Last year, we shared with you an upgrade to that jig head that raised the bar even more. But don't get it twisted, one of those things is not like the other. And if you're using these jig heads interchangeably in the same conditions, the same areas, the same types of bass, you are not maximizing your catch rate. One is really built for when the bass are aggressive, they're feeding, and that's going to get you a bite and stand out in those conditions. The other is when they've got a little bit of a lockjaw and you've got to coax them in to open up and say, oh. What are we talking about? We are talking about these two heads right here, and they are an incredible 1-2 punch. So a couple of years ago, we introduced you to the jaw dropper. These are incredible heads. They come in a couple of different sizes. This right here is a 2/0 3/16 ounce. Now, I don't remember exactly what all sizes they come in. I know one of my favorite sizes is the 1/4 ounce head right here. But what's great about these is they have an erratic action, and they have a really unique action. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, I'll leave a video we did on these a couple years back. I'll leave a link in the video. But these things can walk the dog. You can shake them just a little bit, and they'll just barely sort of move in the water. You can actually just reel them, and they've got this nice little movement because of that sweet little lip. What's great is these are great when the bass are a little bit finicky. You can really use a big wide sweeping action to get their attention and cut that down to just a shake action to where it's just barely moving to draw them in to bite. So this is going to be the head that I like to go to when the bass are a little stubborn. On those days, super clear water, out in open water, when they're, really just alone, like you're targeting a single bass. This is something that you can show them 2 or 3 different actions that you can keep very subtle, but looks still as they start to chase like a fleeing bait fish. This, they came out last year, and we showed you this. We shared this with you just last year. Now, again, I'll leave another video linked at the end of this video so you can really go in depth on this one. But this head, the key to it is it's got a little bit of flash, a little bit of pulse to it, a little bit of vibration, and sometimes that's a huge key. When I like to use this is when the bass are in cover. So let's say, like today, we were fishing around a lot of bass that were in some really big rock crevices, really big. The rocks could be as much as 3 to 5 foot high, and we could take this bait and really just work it right up above them. It's going to give them a little flash and a little bit more vibration, and we're still going to get a pretty good side-to-side action, a good erratic action, which is going to make that blade do a lot of different things. When we're working it, say, down a bank over brush or maybe even over some grass, this is what you want. One of my favorite ways to use this is when the bass are out chasing shad. There's nothing better than to take this head and drop it right down in that school of shad with those bass just busting it, and just give it a couple of quick twitches, because it'll scatter the shad a little bit, and all's left is you and that bass, and they don't miss it. One of my favorite baits to use on these is this right here. This is the Pearl White. It's actually a little bit translucent, but still stands out pretty good. It's a 3-inch. It just works really well when you're wanting to get that walk the dog action, and it's a good finesse style bait, and that's the Damiki Armor Shad in the 3-inch. Now, some of you might ask how the hooks are in these, and I'm telling you, they're great. We've actually got a video where we were catching like 12, 13 pound striped bass, striper, on these heads. On this actual setup right here. So the jaw dropper and a Damiki bait, a little 3-inch. And we crush striper on this all day long. And you know, to rig these, basically what I do is I come down, and they are a split belly. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of come right out the center there, run that up, spin it around, make sure I shove that up on the bait. Then I open that belly, make sure we're up there nice and tight. Just kind of curl it. Easy to do with both. Now with these, you can tie a loop knot, especially if you're going to shake them a lot. If you're going to walk them though, or you're going to walk them and then shake them, I would probably just go with the good old pit seam knot. And a pit seam knot is really pretty simple to tie. You can double it if you want, but you just come through, wrap it around about 5-6 times. Come through that top loop, moisten a little bit, pull down, and snip your tag in. You're good to go. Rod, reel, and line, we have got a TFO. This is an option. This is 7'3", so that I can get a nice long cast out of it. Love the sort of gray, the battleship gray that they've got going on. And it is a medium fast action. So this is a Daiwa Fuego. I don't think they make this particular version, but I will put a link down in the description. Of course, always links to everything will be down in the description. Now, if you don't care and you're interested in anything in this video, or you want to support the channel, we don't do memberships, but we do have an affiliate link with Tackle Warehouse. There's a link down in the description down there, or you can scan a code. Bookmark those for us, and anytime you want to support the channel or buy something from Tackle Warehouse, it doesn't cost you an extra penny, but it does help the channel out. Now, I'm really excited about this, the line that I have on here. This is the new JDM silk braid from K9 Fishing. Geeks, no company ever has had the amount of twists or braids or wraps per inch in a braid. That makes for an incredible smooth line. You will cast a mile. This is 14-pound test. It will outcast any 10-pound test braid, I guarantee it, you put on this combo. It is incredible how well this works. Now, of course, we've got I believe it's 8-pound test Pro 100 for our leader. Our leader's only about 8 foot long. On here, which is their 100% fluorocarbon, extremely clear, good fluorocarbon. And we've got a discount right here. You can go get this and save some money. All right, geeks, so we're going to talk about places to fish these. And we've already touched on it just a little bit throughout the video, but you know, they're really going to be different times. So when the bass are active, this is what I'm going to be looking for. When they're in balls of shad, this is what I'm going to throw in there. When they're in trees, brush, over heavy rock, this is what I'm going to throw, because I want to get their attention. I want them to see something that they don't normally see and come out to investigate and eat. And this is what I'm going to throw then. And I'm just going to tight line it most of the time. So what's going to happen is, when I make a cast out with the underspin version, I'm going to let it drop right down in that wad of shad, or where those bass are, keep it slightly above them, and I'm just going to shake the rod. If I'm coming down a bank just like the one behind me up here, and I've got a piece of timber or a brush pile, I'm going to keep it above it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to shake it, keep it right above, so that if anything's in it, they come up to investigate and see what it is. But it's one of my favorite ways to really go and catch them when they're active. Love this when they're really feeding on shad. Late winter, early spring, this thing is so stinking deadly. that time of year. Now, this though, right now, it is January. We're in the coldest part of winter. This is when this little puppy shines. Now, what's great about both of these is you can adjust the action so much, because you can really get down and get that walk the dog action out of this, a really wide walk the dog action, and that really gets those bass attention. And a lot of times what we've discovered, once they see it and start coming, you can kind of slow it down and start shaking, and it's just going to do a little dart to dart random side motion, and that's when you go for the little more subtle action and get them to bite. That's what's great about both of these. But that blade, that thump, that extra flash, sometimes when they're feeding, sometimes that little bit of extra flash is what's going to get them to commit when the feed bag's tied on. It just drives them crazy when you fire up two of their senses. They can see it and they can feel it through their lateral line. And when they're in the feed mood, that's when I go to this. Late winter, early spring, this is my coldest of cold, my cold fronts, that sort of thing. And you can adjust the retrieves and how much action you give both. That makes it easy. You know, like any jig head minnow, you're going to set the hook straight up. You're going to make sure that you keep the rod tip down. And like I said, these hooks are great. We've caught, I think it was 12 to 16 pound striper on them. I don't remember how big it is, but we got a whole video on that. And that's it, man. Get them on your thumb or get your net and get them in the boat. So make sure you're using these first gen. This is the jaw dropper, and this, I'm going to call it the jaw dropper scope spin, underspin, all right, or whatever they call it, but it's still a jaw dropper to me, you know. That to me is an incredible 1-2 punch this time of year. This in the deepest, darkest of winter, and this as we get into late winter, super late winter and early spring, when they really tie those feed bags on. Now, if you want to check out these two where we really break down both of these two baits individually, you want to check those videos out, make sure you go check them out right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell and you be part of the 100% Watch Squad. That way you know the videos are coming out with that bell. 2026 is going to be big. You geeks rock.